When did you start getting like into the open mics more?
I think like the heaviest I got in that early time period, that first 14 years, was like I would do like one open mic a week and then like do 2 shows a month.
For 14 years, that was the
That
extent
was
of
like
it.
the extent of my comedy.
And I was just so ashamed of myself. And then, and then my mom felt bad. And I was, when I realized she felt bad, then I was milking her. I was like, I told you I didn't feel good.
I knew it.
I
I was gonna puke and you made me do
You
it.
didn't believe me.
Why didn't you believe me?
This is episode 3 of Origin Stories. If you've never seen this before, what we do is we talk to different comedians. We've got some of the best comedians from Long Island and New York City to come and talk about how they became who they are today, how they got into comedy. Today, I have a very special guest, a very funny guy, big part of the Long Island comedy scene, and a guy that I've known since I've been doing comedy. Welcome, Mike Ellison.
Yo, what's up, Rich? It's good to be here, man.
Thanks
for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this. Similar to my first guest, Steve Rocco, when I first came back into comedy after taking more than a decade off, you guys were like 2 of the first people I met. And so when I started a podcast, I wanted to get you guys on really quickly. And, you guys were very supportive, so I really appreciate that. You guys are both really funny guys, so I thought of you guys pretty quickly early on.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I shower me with compliments. That's what I want. No,
I'll be doing that throughout the episode. But I wanted to basically, the way I work this is very loosely. We kind of just start early life, early childhood. How did you grow up to become the funny guy that you are today? And also, how did you get into comedy? So we'll start off. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
So I was born in Mineola, and I originally lived in Baldwin in Nassau County,
Okay.
closer to where we're at now. Then I moved out to Sayville when I was like in 4th grade. So I would say I grew up in Sayville. I mean, how much growing up did you really do when you're still in elementary school? So.
Yeah, it's like those kids that move to Long Island from Brooklyn when they're like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. It was like, yeah, dude, you were wearing diapers in Brooklyn. Nobody, you weren't running the streets.
They go through the rest of their life telling everybody, I'm from Brooklyn until I was 6.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I lived in Brooklyn for 3 years. Now I'm tough.
Yeah.
I moved out to Sayville in 4th grade, and I basically lived out in Suffolk County ever since.
And how was Sayville? Was Sayville a tough neighborhood to grow up in?
Not at all. Sayville is it was once called the friendliest town in America, I believe. They have it on a sign somewhere.
Wow.
I wouldn't call it the friendliest town, but it's not like full of tough guys.
Yeah. I know a few people from Sayville and like that Bayport, Blue Point area.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm not going to say it's a funny mixture of people. I'll just say like some people from there, I think, like more of like the skater, like punk crowd type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's kind of, I had a lot of friends that were into that.
Yeah. Not even skaters, BMX kids is what they all were.
Oh, really? As I said, my friends were skaters. My friends were skateboarders. I mean, I was like, I'm going to break it.
I was just going to ask, you ever drop into a half pipe?
Yeah, I did. I've been working on my ollies before this now, but
did you play any sports growing up, like football, baseball?
Football I played when I was a young kid, and I would have played throughout high school if I could have, but I got hurt in 8th grade playing football. Mm-hmm. Like my foot got fucked up, and then like the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me for 2 years.
Like it just wasn't getting better?
It wasn't getting better. I kept having like my ankle would swell up like from like the slightest little bit of like at first we thought it was just like a sprained ankle, and then like it didn't get better for a while, and it was like I was limping around all the time. And eventually what they figured out was after like 2 years of going to like 10 different types of specialists that I had something called bone coalitions in my feet. Okay. So everybody has like a lateral movement in their foot, right? Like you could do this with your foot. I can only do this.
Okay.
Because my feet are they're fucked up. Where you basically have these small bones that are connected that aren't supposed to be connected in my feet. And therefore I lack lateral movement. Okay. So like when I hit puberty in 8th grade, those bones, like they went from like cartilage to calcified bone, and then every time I would twist my ankle, it hurt immensely.
Okay. So it didn't have any give, basically.
Right, I had no give whatsoever, and like, yeah, watching me run was always a struggle, but like it became that much more of a struggle, and like I just couldn't play football anymore. I just didn't have the ability. My feet would be killing me too much.
Gotcha.
So it sucks, but I had to get surgery.
So were you like growing up? Were you like a class clown, like, or even amongst your friends? Were you like the funnier guy?
I would always say I hung out with class clowns. Like, me and my friends were always the goofballs. And, like, I wouldn't necessarily say I was always the funniest. I think I was always the wittiest, though.
Okay.
Most of my friends were kind of dumb, like Neanderthals, that just, like, so it was very easy to make fun of them. And I love them all to death. I mean, they're probably, if they see this, they're like, what the fuck, dude? They're going to talk shit at the fantasy football draft this year or something. But yeah, so like, I kind of hung out with a group of guys where, yeah, whoever said the funniest thing that night was like the coolest guy in the room. So everybody was trying to one up each other on being funny. That was a very important aspect of
I wonder if that's like a Long Island thing. 'Cause I feel like my friends, I know my friends growing up were always about roasting each other, and it was always like a gang mentality where like if one person was getting the heat that day, we would just all gang up until if he swung back and got somebody else, then that would kind of take the heat off of him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You had to have a thick skin.
Yo, yeah.
I think growing up as far as, well, because, yeah, kids are mean.
We were
other,
brutal.
man.
And it was like, God
Just
forbid
ruthless.
if somebody did like edibles or like psychedelics, it was on. Like we just fuck with them and like try to make them trip out, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My, I won't name drop people, but for the sake of the conversation, but I had a buddy who did mushrooms once.
Right.
And we were all hanging out at my one friend's house, and he was on mushrooms by himself. And we basically convinced him that he was having like an out of body experience. And that he was actually in the bathroom being like throwing up sick. But he was on the couch and he was yelling at us from the couch. And he kept being like, guys, I'm over here, guys. And we're like, oh man, not doing good. But they were like, oh man, he's not doing good. He ended up calling his mom and had his mom take him to the hospital. And like they can't do anything for mushrooms.
No.
Like,
you just got to ride that shit out.
Yeah, they're like, we could pump his stomach or we could just put him to bed. You know what I mean? Like,
I would think by the time you even get seen at the ER, you'd be over it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Apparently he wasn't. He was freaking out. We felt really bad. We didn't mean to like do that.
One thing we used to do is if somebody was like too high, we would it was called, I forgot what it was called, but we'd like mime putting a box over their head, and then once the box was over their head, we would all just be quiet, but we would like talk. We'd be like,
right,
just like saying words and making them think that the box over their head was making them go deaf. And it would just like, they would be like, come on, yo, stop fucking with me. It was just one of those things that we'd do to people. Yeah.
Torturing your friends is a big, it's important.
It's a big Long Island thing, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I would imagine like, yeah, if you're in like Bumblefuck, Montana, you probably have just one friend.
Yeah.
So you can't fuck with them too much. Otherwise, like what are you going to do? Travel 35 miles to meet another friend? Like you can't do that.
Yeah, friends are disposable around here.
Yeah. I mean, there was always those people that like bounced around in high school from like group to group. Like they would hang out with, and then like he would do something, like that person would do something weird and like creep out everybody. Like I remember there was a couple of kids in high school that were like, yeah, don't hang out with that dude. He, when he invites you over, he jacks off. It's weird. There was
and there was always a kid in class that would get caught like jacking off in class, and then there would be stories. I remember there's one kid that got caught all the time just jerking off in class.
That's crazy.
And it was just known that he jerked off in school all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I knew one kid that would go to the bathroom like multiple times a day to jerk off.
Yeah,
and I don't even know if it was true, but he would just tell people that.
Yeah.
Which it was like a kind of a weird.
That's crazy that he would tell people that.
Yeah, like,
you got to be really secure in your own.
Yeah, but
skin.
Like, I guess he thought like we were all gonna be like, dude, that's awesome. He's jacking it. Like I was like, no, that's kind of crazy, man.
I do remember like peak puberty, like halfway through the school day, being like, man, I can't fucking wait to get home and deal with this because it's like killing me. Because I had some hot teachers too, like and that would drive me nuts because they'd wear like high heels and like tight like pantsuits, and I'd be like 16 going through the peak puberty and being like, damn, I can't take this much longer.
I remember my senior year, my high school English teacher, she was like a first year English teacher.
22 years old,
I think
show.
she was like 23 or 24 or whatever it was. But oh my God, she was beautiful. She was so good looking. And last period of the day. It was last period of the day. And I remember like every guy in the class wanted to fuck her. Every guy in the class wanted to fuck her. I remember one kid was ballsy enough, he wrote his number down. And on the last day of school, he slid the number to her and just goes, give me a call this summer. And she just took it and ripped it up and threw it right in the trash in front of him.
Oof, that's embarrassing.
But I'm like, oh man, like horny 18-year-olds, dude. We're gonna shoot our shot. Like,
did you ever have any really embarrassing moments in high school?
Definitely had some embarrassing moments. One that comes to mind is a friend of mine. Talk about torturing your friends. I was wearing basketball shorts,
right,
walking to class one day, and he just came up from behind me and just ripped them down.
Oh man!
So thankfully he didn't get the underwear too. The boxers were still up, so it wasn't like I was hanging dong in the middle of the hallway. But like it happened while every person in the grade was out in the hallway. Of course, like every cute girl like that I had ever had a crush on was in that hallway in that moment, you know.
What year did you graduate?
06.
Okay, so I 2009, pretty similar age.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing when I was in high school too, is just pantsing people.
Yeah. Guys
and girls too. And it's like, I look back on it now, I can't imagine kids are still getting away with that shit in high school.
Oh no.
Because you'd think they'd be like, that's sexual harassment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It'd be like a federal investigation.
But I remember like even hot girls, if they wore sweatpants, getting pantsed and like wearing thongs and shit and being like,
oh my God.
Whoa. And I also remember, I don't know why we got on this subject, but I remember like one of my first days in high school, I was in like 9th grade. So I was probably 13. Mm-hmm. And there was the staircase in the middle. I wasn't trying to do anything. Like I was just trying to I just like looked up at the right time. And there was a girl who was like 11th or 12th grade, super hot, popular girl. I remember who it was to this day. She was wearing like a short white mini skirt. And like, I just happened to look up and just saw everything. And I was like, damn, I love high school.
Yeah. I mean, there was definitely some of those moments. I remember a girl drunk at a party like in a mini skirt type of thing. And she just like tripped and fell in a way where like she like landed on top of a table and basically like the table bent her over and the skirt flew. And like every horny dude just been like, ugh. I felt so bad for her though, because she was just like, I want to die in the inside. Like,
it's embarrassing.
It's such a humiliating, like, horrible moment. But yeah, like stuff like that always happened. Yeah, I mean, fortunately, me getting pantsed is probably the worst thing that ever happened to me in high school. Yeah,
and that's the type of shit that happened to everybody. I also remember in middle school, I got mailbox is what they called it. I don't know if but it's like one person goes up behind you and goes on all fours. The other person pushes you like the Three Stooges type of shit. Yo, I got mailbox so bad in front of everybody. I like fell right on my back and like everybody was just laughing. And then, then again, I did the same thing to other people too. So it's not like it just happened to me.
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
Exactly. But the worst part is it was a hot girl that did it to me. Like she like rigged me up for it. Like she was like talking to me. So I was just like totally off guard. I'm like, oh wow.
She's taking
Nicole wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
And then like halfway into the conversation, like one fucking I don't know. Yeah, she actually was the one. She just pushes me and I go flying. And it was another girl who tricked me. And I was just super fucking embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally humiliating. Yeah. It's just,
but anyway, so at what point in your life did you start, like, were you into stand-up comedy as, like, a teenager?
Yeah. I first got into stand-up comedy, I would say, I was probably, like, 6th or 7th grade.
Okay.
It was young. I saw, my parents had HBO.
Okay.
I was, like, the cool kid amongst my friends because nobody else had HBO but my parents.
Yeah, you guys could watch The Sopranos at your house and shit.
Yeah, we could watch all the good stuff. And I remember having watched Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker, and George Carlin's "You Are All Diseased."
Nice.
Those two specials specifically, and I remember just watching Chris Rock specifically when he's just doing like how Chris Rock like walks the stage, paces the stage, and like it's just like watching the crowd react to everything he said, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Oh yeah.
Like that looks cool as fuck. Like just a guy with a microphone saying crazy wild shit. And
what was the movie he was in when he switches bodies with an old white guy?
Oh, what's the name of that movie?
Dude, I don't remember, but I know that when that movie came out, somehow I saw it and I was like, this guy's fucking hilarious. And then I started looking into his stand-up because I saw him in that movie.
Yeah, what is it's gonna kill me.
It's such a good movie. I remember.
I'll probably remember in 20 minutes and say it.
He's the old white guy, and he's like listening to Snoop Dogg, and people are looking at him like he's crazy. Which now it's like guys that are that old like probably grew up in the era when like white kids were listening to hip hop music. So it's like not that far off from being normal to see an old white dude just listening to Snoop Dogg in their car, like. That's
like Nick Swartzen's bit is now coming to life. You ever hear Nick Swartzen's old bit where he's like, someday I'm going to be like 70 being like, where's my Dre CD? Like,
yeah, 100%.
Coming to life now because, like.
100%. Like, and it's like I see dudes that are what I used to think was old and they're like wearing hip-hop shirts like Wu-Tang shirts and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like the average middle-aged man at this point definitely grew up on some 90s hip-hop.
See, like when we were kids, if an older white dude was listening to like Biggie, it was so ironic. Like my uncles used to listen to Biggie and shit, and I used to think it was so hilarious. Like, oh, look at this old white guy listening to rap. But now it's just like normal.
Yeah, it's pretty commonplace. Yeah.
So you got into hip-hop, not hip-hop, into comedy around 6th grade. You saw some specials. Now, when did you ever start trying to write your own jokes or doing your own stand-up?
So I did my first ever set was so a couple of my friends were in bands.
Okay.
And they used to do this battle of the bands at the high school. So when I was a senior in high school, like I knew early on in high school I wanted to try stand-up, but like I just didn't know like how to go about that. So I was also afraid of getting on stage like anybody else.
Oh,
was,
hell yeah.
So like I did high school theater. So when I got to high school, I joined the theater club.
What play did you do?
I did a couple of different plays. I did Our Town. I did I forget what Shakespeare play I was in. It doesn't matter.
Midsummer's Night.
No,
Dream.
It wasn't Midsummer Night. It was
not Romeo and Juliet. Not Hamlet.
Yeah, I forget which one it was. It might have been Hamlet. I might have been in Hamlet, but we did Sweeney Todd.
Oh shit! Did you? Sweeney Todd's a good one.
Sweeney Todd.
Who'd you play in Sweeney Todd?
I was the bird seller. I sell some birds. I had like 2 lines. One of them was like, "We blinds them, sir," and I remember using an accent. I did. I did that terrible accent that I just did, and the director told me to stop doing it. We did Sound of Music, and I was off stage Nazi 1. That was because I couldn't sing, so like they always just gave me like a small part with a couple of lines. It was like, but it helped me like get comfortable being on stage.
Oh yeah,
like
sure.
Because if you could do a Shakespearean monologue in front of people, you can figure out how to tell your stupid dick jokes. So like I always knew I wanted to do comedy as young as like 14, but like I had no idea what the avenues were, like how to go about it. And so I did my first ever stand-up show was a battle of the bands.
Okay.
And they wanted somebody to MC it. So they're like, how about you MC it? So I was like, okay. So that's when I first wrote jokes. I wrote a bunch of jokes about the school. It was a lot of corny stuff about, like we had this attendance program called Sassy. That was the name of the attendance program. So I wrote a bunch of jokes about Sassy. And like, because every day they'd come over the announcements and be like, Sassy's down. Sassy's down. So I did something about Sassy.
Did anybody get an award for never missing a day of school or something like that? We had this one girl when we graduated high school who never missed a day from kindergarten through 12th grade. Never missed a single day. No sick days, no vacation, no anything. She was literally perfect attendance.
That's insanity.
Insane. Like her parents should be beat. Like she didn't even.
Yeah.
Like even like senior cut day, she went because she was like, I can't break my record.
Yeah, like for what? Like, what are you holding on to this record for?
What are you, Lou Gehrig? Like,
yeah, exactly. Right. This isn't a hitting streak.
I mean, that's abuse in my opinion.
Right. You're not Eli Manning. You're like starting for the New York Giants.
Yeah.
This is high school. No, exactly. Like I remember, not that it happened often, but my dad being like, fuck it, you could stay home today. You know what I mean? Like just giving me a day off.
No, I always had to lie. I had to pretend I was sick, or just like in high school, I would just like go to school and then leave after first period.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I used to do the fake sick thing plenty of the time. But by the time I got to senior year of high school, like my parents were like, if your grades are good, we don't care.
Yeah.
So if you say you're sick, fine, stay home sick. But like, I don't want you better not fail class. Like that was really their...
See, I don't know why I pretty early on started the fake sick thing, and it was so bad that when I really was sick, they didn't believe me. And then I remember in elementary school, they didn't...
cried wolf.
Yeah, they didn't exactly. My grandfather used to say that all the time, the boy who cried wolf. But one time they wouldn't believe me, and I was only at school for like a half hour, and I fucking puked all over the classroom. So fucking humiliating. And I was only in like maybe first or second grade. But I just remember like then the teacher was like, all right, go in the hallway. And I remember Big Mike, the janitor, coming in to clean up my fucking puke. And I was just so ashamed of myself. And then, and then my mom felt bad. And I was, when I realized she felt bad, then I was milking her. I was like, I told you I didn't feel good.
I knew it.
I knew it.
I was gonna puke and you made me do it.
You didn't believe me.
Why didn't you believe me?
But yeah, so you did the Thespians Club. Oh, and then you did that thing. You made jokes about Sassy.
Yeah, the Battle of the Bands.
This episode of Origin Stories is brought to you by The Cleaners. Check out cleanersny.com to see what events they got going on down here. They also have a clothing line you should check out. These guys are the best on Long Island when it comes to events. And how did that go? Did you get laughs?
I got laughs, and what really stood out to me, that made me like motivated me more than anything, was like, of course, my friends who were like involved in like the producing of the Battle of the Bands and like were there told me I did a great job and all that. But what really hit home for me was that the teachers that were like the chaperones for the event, they came up to me and were like, "You're hilarious!" Like they loved the sassy bit, like
right.
The sassy bit murdered.
Yeah.
So like,
did they tell you should pursue comedy?
a couple of them thought I should, and I was like, yeah, I want to. I just don't really know how to. So then I finally like was like, oh, let me use this internet thing we got, because we had basic internet access there at the school, whatever, and I looked up Governor's Comedy Club and figured out when they were doing like what they call the new talent nights, or the lesser described as bringer shows.
Okay.
So I found out when I could get onto one of those and started doing stand-up. I did my first ever, I guess, real set at Levittown Governor's.
So this is very interesting to me because Steve Rocco, similarly to you, in that his first set wasn't on an open mic. He told me he kind of just stumbled on a place where they were doing comedy shows, and he called the booker, and they told him about bringer shows, and his first set was so it was your first thing. Other than that, Battle of the Bands, you went straight to a bringer show, basically.
Yeah, I did bringer shows the first several years I did stand-up.
And you didn't even know about open mics yet.
I mean, I knew I had learned a little bit after a couple. If once you did a couple of the bringer shows, you meet some other comics.
Okay.
I understood the concept of an open mic. I just didn't know where any were.
Okay.
So unlike,
and what year about was this?
I was probably about 20, 21.
Okay, so only a couple of years out of high school.
Yeah.
So you did that Battle of the Bands, and then within a couple of years, you were like, let me get into a bringer show and do this.
I did my first bringer show when I was 18. So right after the Battle of the Bands, I did the bringer show. And I was doing... how
did that go, the first bringer show?
The first bringer show went very well. I believe it was the third one where I finally like bombed. Yeah. Like bombed. Like, and like then I was like, I'm very bad with adversity at times. This is definitely one of my negative traits, at least when I was younger, was like the minute the going got tough, I'd be like, time to quit.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like I had one bomb set and like I was just like, oh, well.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm not good at this.
Guess I'm not good at it. I tried. And so that followed me for a long time because from like 18 till, what am I, 38 now? So 18 to 32, that 14-year period, I had done stand-up sporadically. Right. But like anytime the littlest thing would go wrong, I would just be like, fuck this, I quit.
Really? Okay, so.
And I'd stop doing it for a long period of time.
Like years?
I think the longest I went was like 2 years.
Okay.
In that time, I think 2 years was the longest run of not doing it.
Yeah. See, like for me, like I don't talk a lot about my origin story yet. I figure at some point I'll have somebody come and flip the roles. But like I took over a 10-year hiatus, and it had nothing to do with like doing bad. I never really killed, and I did bomb a few times, but it was like I was expecting that because by the time I started, I'd already listened to like Joe Rogan's podcast and other comedians' podcasts enough to know that that's to be expected. Right. So I went into it like knowing, okay, I'm going to bomb a lot. Like I'm prepared for it. It was more just like a money thing where I got a good job and I was like, fuck, like this is fucking with my money. Like I need to stop doing this. Thinking like I was just going to stop for a few months, and then months turned into years. Yeah. And then like I did a couple random open mic sets here and there, but it was like when you don't go on stage for a long time, and it's like, oh fuck, it's so much scarier when you're not doing it all the time.
Yeah. When you're not, it's like a muscle.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not working out on a regular basis, you can't expect to maintain that strength.
Right. Like I even just went on vacation for a week, and my first set back, I actually got cocky because I did like one of my better ever open mic sets right before I went away, where I was like, holy shit, I'm doing pretty good. Like I'm getting a lot of laughs. So like I came back from vacation feeling pretty good about myself, and then I just ate shit as soon as I came home. And part of it was just like not being practiced for like 10 days or whatever. And I was like, damn, like this shit is so fucking hard.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's not.
It's the hardest thing. And listen, like I've been a heroin addict. I've been sober for 12 years. Doing comedy is way harder than like anything I've ever done, including getting off drugs. Like it's the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's incredibly challenging.
Just getting on stage, learning how to write jokes, being consistent about it, and the fact that you're not going to make money doing this for a very long time.
Yeah.
So if you're inspired by wanting to do this for a living, get ready to have not get a lot of sleep, because you're going to have to work a job to support yourself and still go out and do this every fucking night if you want to get good at it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I work basically 6 days a week, and that's not comedy. That's regular work. That's just to make money.
Yeah, just to support chasing your dream.
Yeah.
And, but that's something, the reason why I came back to it is because I realized after 10 years of not doing it, like I actually love doing it enough where I'm like, you know what? I'd rather let my money suffer a little bit and do something that I really am passionate about doing. So.
I completely agree with you. I've found myself at one point, like when I wasn't doing it, like I would get like super depressed, and I'd just be like like just kind of going through the motions of life. Like I'd show up to I worked at a pizzeria.
Okay. How was that working at a pizzeria?
It was fun. It was interesting. Definitely a lot of stories, a lot of great memories. And it's an easy job. Back to what I was saying about adversity. I
if it had been hard, you would have left early.
I would have gotten the fuck out of there immediately. But it was like, no. You just put the pizza in your car, drive it to this person's house.
Oh yeah,
and they're gonna.
I did the delivery driver gig for a while.
Yeah,
and I did that as an active drug addict. And the thing I liked most about it was the freedom of like, oh shit, like I got a bunch of tips. I can go pick up some drugs and just say I stopped for gas, and nobody will know any better.
Right, exactly. Now you can be high while doing your shitty job.
You could listen to podcasts all night in your car while you're driving deliveries around. I loved it. It was fucking great.
Yeah. pizza delivery is still an awesome job.
Yeah, I might just do it for fun. I might just pick up some shifts at the local pizzeria.
It's not a bad way of making a couple of bucks.
No.
In your spare time.
And you get free food out of it.
Right, and exactly. You don't have to pay for food.
No. Especially at the end of the night. Dude, I used to work with a guy that in one of my offices who delivered pizza on the side. And every morning he'd come in with like 5 pizza boxes full of like the leftovers from the night before and be like, hey fellas, I got the Supreme, I got meatball, I got sausage.
Oh yeah. I remember especially because I got the pizza delivery job when I was a senior in high school.
So it was a spot in Sayville?
Yeah. So I did that. I did the pizza delivery job from
I think you talked about that guy on stage that owned the pizzeria maybe.
I've mentioned him before.
Okay. I remember hearing about that.
That was the other guy, but it was because I worked for 2 different owners.
Okay.
The second owner is the one I talk about on stage.
Okay.
Because I actually liked the first owner.
Yeah.
So I used to show up to parties, like back when I was 18 to 21. I'd show like my friends would be out drinking and be like, yo, dude, so-and-so's having a party. Come by after work. And I wouldn't get done work until 11. But when I walked into that party, I was a rock star because I would show up with 3 or 4 boxes full of fucking leftover pizza that was gonna get thrown out at the end of the night, and everyone would be like, fuck yeah, Mike brought the pizza. Like,
dude, and everybody's always happy to see the pizza guy.
Oh yeah.
I remember one of the Giants Super Bowls that they won, the night of the Super Bowl, I was working. This was the busiest night of the year in a pizzeria, and I couldn't watch the game obviously because I'm delivering pizzas, but every time I got to somebody's house I'd like peek in, yo, what's the score?
Right.
And when they won, I was dropping off like one of my last deliveries of the night, and they fucking like gave me a shot of vodka, hit the blunt, and I'm like, fuck, now I got to drive back to the pizzeria.
Good times.
Good times. Pizza delivery.
Yeah, pizza delivery. I was just say I had one guy who he used to watch. He was a hockey guy because I didn't work Sundays. That was actually my one thing. That was my big bonus. As
well, once you have seniority, you get to make those kind of calls.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I became a big deal over at that pizzeria because I worked there for almost 20 years.
Okay.
And when I was, I wouldn't work Sundays, but I worked every Saturday. This one dude, he was a big diehard hockey guy. And he had this like shed in his backyard where he'd always be having his boys over to like drink and party, and they would order pizzas, and he would request that I deliver it. Every time I'd go there, it was $20 tip, a shot of Jameson, a Bud Light. I'd have my shot, I'd have my beer, hang out, bullshit with them for a few minutes, and I'd be like, all right, fellas, I'll see you guys later. Like that delivery, it was right around the block from the pizza place too, but it would take me a half an hour to get back, and they'd be like, where the fuck were you? And I'm like, sorry.
I bet you loved Saturdays.
I loved that. The best was because I would be the early guy cut on Saturdays.
Yeah.
They would order right before. It would be like my last delivery of the night. There was times I'd be like, I'm taking it on the way home. Yeah. Drop it off, get my $20, have my beer and my shot, and then be like, all right, I'm going out with my friends. It was a good time.
Did you work during Hurricane Sandy at that place?
Yeah, we closed the day of the hurricane.
Yeah.
I remember working around that time where trees were down.
Bro, I remember
there were certain blocks you'd be like, yeah, I can't get to your street. There's a tree.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if it was like there was a big gas problem. I don't remember if it was right before or right after.
Oh yeah. Right after.
So I remember I had a shift, and in the middle of the shift, I'm like, dude, I need to get gas, and I go there, and it's like around the block, and I'm calling. I'm like, dude, I don't know when I'm gonna get this gas because I'm lined down Sunrise Highway. It was like an hour and a half before I got gas. And dude, I saw people like fist fighting at the gas pump.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm sitting there, and then but also, so I was in Lindenhurst. So whenever you get a delivery south of Montauk, it was definitely right after. 'Cause I just remembered this: the National Guard would be there, and you couldn't go south of Montauk unless you lived there. They wouldn't let you because there was looting going on. So, they, I had all these deliveries south of Montauk, and they're like, do you live here? And I showed him my deliveries, and he's like looking in the back. He sees a pizza there. He goes, okay, you can go. Yeah. And I remember driving down there and then just seeing like houses knocked over, trees knocked down. There's people with signs that say, if you loot, we shoot. There's a guy sitting on a lawn chair with an AR-15. I'm like, holy fuck. It was like that Will Smith movie, where it's like the end of the world.
Yeah, I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. It was fucking insane. Yeah. So then, all right. So you did comedy. You did the bringer shows. When did you start getting like into the open mics more?
So yeah, I like I said, I dabbled a little bit in the open mics. Like I think like the heaviest I got in that early time period, that first 14 years was like I would do like one open mic a week and then like do 2 shows a month or a show a month. Like that was basically
For
it.
14 years, that was the
That
extent
was
of
like
it.
the extent of my comedy.
From 18 to 32. Okay.
Yeah, it's about 32. It was around 32, 33 was when I finally, like, I just kind of had this, like, epiphany one day where I, like, realized, like, I'm not doing what I love. I'm working at a fucking pizzeria. I'm in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Something I remember saying to myself, like, if I'm still at this pizzeria when I'm in my 30s, somebody kill me. Like, somebody come.
You were in your 20s when you said that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was like, old yeller me. Fucking take me behind the woodshed and put a bullet in me because my life is over.
Okay.
If I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
But it ends up your life isn't over. It's just sad. You're not happy,
Right.
you know? And
Yeah.
I was not happy with what I was doing. And I was like, I never gave comedy a go.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point, by the time I was 30, like I understood what it really meant to go after comedy.
Right.
Like, you have to dedicate your time to it, like everything we were just saying. Like, you have to. It has to be a priority for you.
100%.
Like you have to put it above a lot of other things, and sometimes that includes relationships. I definitely lost a girlfriend because of comedy.
Right.
I gave up on the pizza job. I finally got out of the pizza place. I actually quit the pizza place. I gave 2 weeks notice. The boss begged me to stay, gave me a raise, and then fired me a week later once he found a replacement. But it's the best thing that ever happened was that firing. Like it wasn't really a firing in the scheme of things, but it was the best thing that happened to me because then I started doing the Uber thing, which kind of frees you up to work hours whenever you want, which means like I can prioritize comedy comes first. So like I could always put my comedy shows and the open mics ahead of my work schedule and work off the hours.
Gotcha.
You know, the different days.
Yeah.
And I could always make up for it. Like, okay, I don't have a show Friday, so Friday I'll work harder. So that way when on Saturday, I don't have to work as hard and I can go do stand-up.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And,
so
that was it. I just had like that epiphany when I was like 30. Yeah, it was 32 when I had the wake-up call.
Okay.
And decided, like, I just don't want to fucking do this anymore. Yeah. Like, I don't want to.
So it's basically been then for the last 6 years just going balls to the wall with it.
Oh, yeah. I think COVID kind of played into that, too, a little bit because it was, like, the COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I first started coming back into it, it was, like, when comedy was just reopening up. Because if you remember, COVID shut everything down. There was no bars. There was no restaurants. There was no open mics going on. There was no comedy shows.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very dismal. But I remember when it started opening up again, I was like, I'm going to get back into this because, like, if there's going to be another pandemic that might end the world, I kind of want to.
Well, it does put things into perspective for you when you see how quickly life as we know it can change.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, not to be morbid, but we're all going to die.
Well, that's the other thing that came into my head when I was like, I don't want to be in my 70s or my 80s looking like, holy shit, like I could have been doing something that I loved and I decided to give it up for what? Money?
Right. Exactly.
Money is so, it's such a weird thing because it can be intoxicating when you have a lot of it out of nowhere and you never thought you would. Because for me, like I didn't come up with a lot of money. And then all of a sudden, I got into this sales job and listen, I made in 1 week, I made more than I had ever probably made in a month, which wasn't even a lot of money at the time. And I was like, holy fuck. Yeah. I was like, this is serious. I was like, this could change my life. And I started seeing like all the things that I can do. Yeah. And I was only getting started in sales and I was already starting to realize, well, also open mics were a lot different back in 2014. I'm sure you remember, but it was like, there was no just stand-up comedy open mics. It was all mixed open mics. Yes. They started late. So if you wanted to get on stage, sometimes you'd have to be out till 2:00 in the morning
Yeah.
on a weeknight, and then not get home till 2:30 in the morning.
Get
You're not getting to sleep till 3:00, and then you're supposed to be at work at 9:00 in the morning.
Yeah, it's tough.
So and it was just like I was doing it, but I knew even as though I was doing well at the job that I was half-assing it because I was falling asleep during my lunch break at my
Right.
desk, and I was just so out of it half the time.
Yeah.
I was just a mess, bro. And I was like, you know what? I thought, let me give this a couple of years. And my thinking was, I'll make enough money to like be comfortable, and then I'll focus on the comedy. But then the money is just never enough. It's like a drug. It's like, and then like I would spend it as quickly as I would make it, and I would want more, and I would want to do more vacations and have more designer clothes, and more, more of everything.
More just materialistic nonsense that's really not fulfilling you.
Yes, and then the greatest thing that happened to me, which was a blessing in disguise, was I got in some legal trouble, and it was bad legal trouble. Like, and I started there was a time when I thought I might have to go to federal prison for a few years, and I was like, fuck, and it made me really put my whole life into perspective. And I had to spend a lot of money at the end of the day to basically lost everything I had financially
Right.
in a short amount of time. And I was like starting from square one anyway. And I said, wow, I just spent 10 years not doing comedy because I wanted to make money. And now I lost it all in the snap of a finger.
Right.
And I literally didn't even do anything wrong. I know every criminal says they didn't do anything wrong. I didn't. But to defend myself legally cost me everything. Right. So now I was starting at square one, and I was like, bro, I'm doing comedy. I don't give a fuck if I ever make the money again, because even if I do, it could be taken away from me.
Yeah. Money comes and goes, man. Because I was going to say, for me, on your point about money, when I was working at that pizza place, like, it's funny is like as much as I shit on the life of being a pizza delivery driver in my 30s as like a loser job, that's a loser job where you can make like $1,500 a week cash.
Yeah.
Like $1,500 a week cash is more than like teachers take home on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I had friends that were teachers. They're like, dude, you make more money than me. And it annoys me.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but I mean, my money though was coming at the cost of my time.
Right.
I'm at this pizzeria 60 hours a week. You only have to teach for 40 hours a week, and I was there 6 days a week, and so I was making really, really good money. I had when I first came back to comedy 6 years ago, I had thousands of dollars put away.
Yeah.
Can't say that anymore. Cannot say that anymore. I am definitely, I'm not broke, but I'm not rich. Like, I'm certainly not rich by any stretch. Because, any type of extra income you have is usually getting invested back into, I bought camera equipment. I bought a laptop. I need money because I'm gonna go on the road and do comedy somewhere else. But I'm not the headliner. I'm a feature. The features pay is only $100 at some of these comedy clubs.
You're spending more than that just to get there and fucking do your
exactly.
thing.
Just and like they're not paying for your hotel room.
Right.
Like they're gonna give you $200 to come do the weekend, and what am I gonna sleep in my car? Like you gotta.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing that's wrong with comedy, dude. Is like I talked to
Ziegler.
Yep. Oh yeah. You know what? I was trying to remember who I was even talking to, and then you said it before I even remembered. It was.
Ziegler's a great.
He knows all about it, but he was telling me about like, because you know what? We were talking about another comic who's opening for a huge act, like one of the biggest acts out there right now, and he's one of the biggest acts out there, and he's not even really a stand-up comic, but he's the biggest stand-up comic right now. But anyway. He was talking about one of the guys that opens for him that he knows personally, and he's like, and I made a comment because I was thinking like, yeah, he's got to be making good money opening for him. He's like, yeah, he's making like $300, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, he's like, dude, you don't make a lot of money open. I'm like, but for an act like that, you're not gonna make big money opening, and he's like, no. And I'm looking at it like, this is fucked. This industry, the room is gonna make $20,000, and you're gonna make $200.
I not that I want to. Again, I'm gonna very much avoid saying names here. I heard a story of a guy doing a private gig with opening for a big time name, like just like you were saying, like a real national headliner who's famous, had television shows, movies, all that. It was a private gig.
Yeah.
The big time headliner was getting paid $250,000 to do this private gig. The guy who opened for him, I think, got like $1,000.
And listen, that's a lot better than getting a few hundred. But I got to tell you something. If I was making that kind of money to do a show, first of all, I'd be bringing my best friends with me to do it, and I'd be like, "Here's $5,000 cash out of mine. On top of that $1,000 they're giving you, I'm giving you another $5 because you're my boy." And it's like I can't sleep at night knowing I made $250, and the guy that opened for me just walked away with $1,000, bro. Like,
right? Yeah.
But like I wasn't raised that way. It's like, you got to be a piece of shit, honestly. Like, and it's like, but that's the way the industry is, and I guess it's not really your responsibility, but
right. And and who knows if the big time headliner even knew what his opener was getting paid.
Yeah, they might not.
He just said, "Hey, this is the guy I'm bringing to open for me." And then they went, "Okay, no problem. This is what we'll pay. We'll take care of your opener."
Yeah, but I think something needs to be done about that. And you know what? Maybe because of the internet and like things get out there more, maybe it'll change at some point. Because I
sure hope so.
Well, because at a certain point with the internet, you do have more of like a platform where if you're a comic and you're at the headline level and you're not happy with the deal they're giving you, you could certainly just go and find a venue and produce your own fucking tour.
Yeah, I mean...
In fact, Ari Shaffir did that on his own like 10, 15 years ago. I saw him at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn, and he was doing a special there, and it's not really like a comedy venue.
Yeah.
But I remember him talking about it on his podcast where he's like, yeah, I'm doing it myself because I don't like the way that the fucking ticket websites are running shit. Like,
right. I want to control my money, this is they're coming to see him. They're coming and I think that is kind of the beautiful part of what's going on with the internet and everything is that I think we're all starting to realize that we do have a little bit of more power and control than we think we should, than we think we did. At the same time though, it's frustrating when you do see some guy who's like moving up the totem pole who doesn't really have an act.
Yeah.
They're just going out there and, how you doing or whatever. And
yeah. Your sister's dancing for chicken cutlets.
Right. They're just kind of saying like these catchphrases and they're not, really putting the work into the stand-up. But I think it will eventually turn back. Because things always do. I think live audiences are going to get sick of this like instant gratification of, oh, I went and saw the loser guy or the chicken cutlet guy or whatever. Like all right. At what point that doesn't have longevity.
Yeah.
What has longevity though is somebody who's capable of like finding humor in our everyday lives and finding humor in dark places and strange places. And that's a skill set that you can't just teach it. It has to be, that's got to be cultivated over years of hard work and dedication to the craft.
100%.
And I think that eventually the appreciation for that will come back around. That's my half glass full look on it, that it's going to come back around.
So if you're a new comic and you're watching this, I hope that you got a little bit of a glimpse into what it took to become a stand-up comic and, starting from just doing it on a whim and then taking it more seriously and being dedicated to it. If you were talking to a brand new stand-up and they asked you for one piece of advice and you could break it down to a nutshell, what would it be, Mike?
If I could give out one, it's funny that you said this because I've been doing the not serious pro tips for new comics.
Which, by the way, actually, that's really funny, and I hope that you keep doing that because those always make me laugh.
Yeah, they're like the complete opposite of what you should.
And I was going to tell you should start doing those as reels where you just make like little 30-second to a minute videos giving like your little sarcastic advice.
Yeah, the fake advice of. Don't promote your shows.
Yeah.
disrespect the host.
Yeah.
No, but I guess if I was going to give real advice to a young comic who's just starting out, it's write constantly. You don't know it's a bad idea until you try it on stage. Mm-hmm. So and by the way, the best comics in the world just throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks. Like that's what we're all doing. You don't just, you know what I mean? Like Jerry Seinfeld doesn't just wake up in the morning and just go, "Oh, what's the deal with it's genius?"
Yeah, right.
It's not everything he says is gold. Like he has his stinkers.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, you don't see it in the polished product.
Of course.
So you don't see that element of it, but that's what it takes. So like, just keep throwing the shit at the wall, keep writing, keep getting up on stage, and try it out. I mean, obviously, there's certain shows. Like, when you're doing an important show and, like, you're told, like, hey, you got 10 minutes, like, you got to kill. There's a packed room. Bring your A game. Do the hits, as I always like to say.
Yeah.
Do the hits for those. But when you're doing the open mics or you're doing, like, a freebie show or maybe there's a light crowd, fuck around and try out the new stuff. Like, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I think that's probably it. That's the sentence.
100%.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that's actually the best thing that really encapsulates it. And like, I've had people tell me, like, when it comes to doing comedy, like, wow, like, you're so brave. I don't know how you can get up there and do that. It's like, you got to get used to, like, pretending that you're not nervous, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Whenever I get in front of a room and speak, there's nerves there, but I just act like they're not there.
Right.
And then once you get started, it just goes away.
Right. Yeah. You defeat them.
Yeah.
It's like,
and the more you do it, the easier it is. But the longer away, like I was just talking about, when you go on vacation and you come back, it's like it's back, like you never got rid of it.
Oh yeah. It's the muscle thing, man. That's like, because right, like the nerves. Yeah, it's like you're battling the nerves is essentially part of what it takes to be good on stage and comfortable on stage. And the more often you do it, like I find, especially if I have like open mic, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday shows, you know what I mean? Like I have shows every one of those days. By the time I get to that Sunday show, I am so loose and so comfortable, and I'm just like, nothing is going to faze me in this moment.
100%.
I've been stretching out. I've been flexing the muscle. I've been working it out, and that's the best feeling in the world, and that's what it takes to elevate your game and get better.
Nice. Where can people follow you?
Mike Ellison Comedy on Instagram. Just Mike Ellison on Facebook. I got to get a TikTok.
Yeah. I mean, you should just try to get it the same as your Instagram and just I post everything I post on Instagram automatically goes on TikTok and then automatically goes on YouTube Shorts, and then because you just never know what's going to hit where. It's so weird how algorithms are so different, where like on one platform it could flop and on the other one it gets 100,000 views.
Yeah.
So yeah, follow Mike Ellison. And do you want to plug any dates that you have coming up where people can see you live?
Yeah, let's plug some dates. Let me get the old calendar out here. Okay, so I got the 27th. I'm at Riley Fibber's Bar and Grill in Selden, New York.
August 27th at Riley Fibber's.
August 27th at Riley Fibber's. I just actually got this today. I'll be headlining the Great Red Zone Bar and Grill.
Wow. In West Babylon.
Babylon, August 28th.
Okay.
I'll be at Give a Hoot Comedy Club in New Jersey, September 12th. I will be at the Laughing Stock Comedy Club in Granville, Pennsylvania, opening for the great Terry McNeely on both of those shows, September 19th. Watson's Public House here in Long Island in Bohemia, September 25th. And Butera's Restaurant in Sayville on September 28th. So some restaurant, bar shows, a couple comedy clubs on the road, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. That's what I got for you.
You heard it here first. I'm going to put in the description. I'll make sure I have Mike's social media, links to his shows. And yeah, I mean, definitely if you enjoyed this podcast, you're into comedy, you want to know more about comedy and how people became who they are today, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button to let YouTube know that you enjoyed this podcast. Smash that like button. And we'll see you next time on Origin Stories. Again, we're brought to you by the Cleaners. We really appreciate them helping us out and sponsoring the show. Because, this is a great place on Long Island if you want to see live comedy, live music. And we're just getting started here. So, again, we have some of the best comics on Long Island and New York City that are going to be featured on this podcast. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Hell yeah. Cleaners rolls.